Once again, we have found ourselves in the tail end of the month, and that means it's time to go over the top 15 mocks made in November. As always with this series, I'm heading back to the LEGO Star Wars subreddit to look at the top 15 most upvoted mocks of the month. These have a wide variety of scales, size, and quality, but it's a great time going and looking at what people created over the past month. With that said, let's get into it. At number 15, the bottom is Yavin 4 Strategy Center. This mock took the approach of a diorama. It's semi-simple, but I absolutely love it, especially with all the minifigures. They lighten up the room so much, and it really does feel like the rebellion meeting together like in scenes in Rogue One or Andor, or even for when the Death Star approaches in New Hope. The small bits of verbal base included in the backdrop are nice to see and very nicely detailed. On the outside, they even included a standing post for the trooper watching incoming ships. A cool little piece of that iconic base. And then of course there's the U-wing overhead, which works perfectly for this base that has starfighters galore all over it. A really fun idea for a mock, and this builder did a wonderful job. Number 14 is a set concept, a remake of Obi-Wan's Blue Jedi Interceptor with hyperdrive ring. This of course is a remake of that classic set from 2005, I believe. I absolutely adore that set. I think the hyperdrive ring just brings something different to the Jedi Interceptors. It makes them increasingly more interesting. The circular shape of them is just so intriguing and so different for LEGO, especially LEGO Star Wars. All that said, this builder did a great job recreating it. The hyperdrive ring looks very clean. I especially love the hyperdrives on the side. They look big, impactful, and are a big showstopper. The Starfighter itself isn't anything too crazy, but it is the updated model, the same version as Ahsoka's new Interceptor. So somewhat of a cool and realistic look of what a remake of the set would look like. I love this idea. It's been quite a while since we've seen a hyperdrive ring in a set, so I think it's due to return at some point soon. With the revamping of Ahsoka's Interceptor, I have to imagine it's somewhat on their mind. We'll have to wait and see though how that pans out. As far as this mock goes, it's a good template as for what I'd want from a set. Number 13 is the Invisible Hand. This is an astounding build. The Invisible Hand is a very curvy ship, has lots of bumps and bubbles, and so getting those all fitted together so well and neatly is a big challenge. This builder was up to the task, however. They did a phenomenal job. The curves look great, especially around the hangar bay where they kind of double up. That part can be increasingly challenging, and yet they fit it together wonderfully. On top of this beautiful exterior, there's even a few rooms on the inside. A micro-scale hangar, R2 with the super battle droids, and even the bridge. This feels very close to something LEGO would actually release. An extremely well done mock, and an excellent pairing with the UCS Venator. He shows it off within a few pictures, and they look perfect together. Hopefully in due time LEGO will release their own model, but until then, luckily mock builders are doing great stuff like this to keep us satisfied until LEGO takes that plunge. At number 12 is the Gingerbread Shuttle, an alternative build of the Gingerbread AT-AT. I've seen a ton of alternative builds of this set already, and yet I don't get bored of them at all. It's so interesting to see all the different builds people can make out of it. This is another one you wouldn't think of at first, but it turned out pretty nice. The cockpit has to be the most impressive part though. I feel like it's connected to the body perfectly, at a tremendous angle that really feels like the ship. And then of course the three-pronged wings are iconic. I especially like those reefs on the side. They pop out and I don't know, it's just another good quality of this build. Adds to the Christmas feel and the gingerbread theming, which of course is very apparent through this set, and also this mock. The lights off the rear are a nice touch as well. A really fun model, and I can't wait to see the other alternate builds on this list, as there's definitely more coming. And at number 11 we have another gingerbread build, BD1. Another crazy alternative build of the set that I'm just in shock of, not a build I would have thought of at first. The legs of course were an easy transfer from the AT-AT to here, but then the body and the head is the more impressive part. As well as just keeping this build stable. He has a very small and intricate body that makes it hard to build into LEGO. Doesn't seem to be a problem here though, as the proportions were captured wonderfully. Similarly to the last gingerbread build, the reef stands out with his eyepiece here. And in general, with the smaller profile of this build, there's a lot more color on it, as there's a lot less area to disperse it. Another terrific alternative build of this amazing set. 10th is the Death Star Hanger. This isn't necessarily a new idea, we've seen this done countless times, but here's this person's version. I'll also mention that this is actually a work in progress. At that, I'm surprised they're saying it's not finished because this is a big model. To fit the UCS Falcon inside, they already had to go big, and on top of that, the details are immense amongst the side. There's quite a bit going on for a room that might seem pretty empty. I will say though, the Falcon does seem kind of hidden, so it's not maybe the best way to display it, but as far as a mock goes, it's great. At number 9, there's another alternative build, a very interesting one, the Imperial Troop Transport from Star Wars Rebels. This build's made from the Millennium Falcon. I've seen a million alternative builds of the Falcon at this point, but this isn't one I expected to ever see. Again, it's just a testament to how creative some people can be out there. And even though I didn't see this in the set before, someone else clearly did and took advantage of it. The model's very well done. I can't say it shows too many flaws either. For an alternative build, it's surprisingly well put together. There aren't too many areas that I feel like are disjointed or aren't smoothed down as much as they would have been if this was a full-blown mock. And while the interior isn't quite as detailed as the exterior, it's still impressive what they were able to do on the inside as well as the outside. This is such a fun and classic vehicle, it's great to see a mock of it. In the 8th spot, we have the Emperor's Lambda class shuttle. This builder went all out here. I'm not sure if it's minifigure scale or not, I don't think it is. However, it's pretty close. Look at this interior, it has a lot going on. Multiple rooms, in fact. It even has a ramp out front. Out of everything I've mentioned though so far, the structural component of this build has to be immeasurable. Something this size takes a lot of effort to get right. There's so much weight in Lego with those wings. It's just impressive to see them all standing, not bending or drooping in any way. And having them able to fold as well is very impressive. This builder obviously knows what they're doing and is experienced. Number 7, we have the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Instead of big, we went very small with the gunship. I don't know if you can get any smaller with the Republic gunship. This is definitely a micro scale. At that, I still want to give this person their flowers. It's a nice design. I can only imagine this is a great fit for the UCS Venator. In the 6th spot, we have an Imperial Outpost mock. Something that sticks out to me about this mock is that it has a live edge and a border. Normally builders always go with one or the other, but this build went a different route, and I quite like it. You don't see that quite as often. It's a small touch, but I do think it adds to this build. No matter what though, this build had a lot of things going for it. I quite enjoy it. It feels like such a real scene. I can't quite explain it, but it does feel very alive, genuine, something that we'd see in a Star Wars video game or TV show. Everything in this build seems very intentional. As to every canister or crate on the side, there's a little control panel at the end of the docking bay, a beautifully designed speeder in the middle with markings on the floor. This build also just hails from kind of some classic Imperial architecture, like that truss above the door and the door itself, all leading to its believability. And then finally the offshoot with the ground and then the rebel troopers on the side. Just adds a little extra fun to it. I actually really enjoy this build. They did a great job. And it's builds like these that show off why the LEGO community needs to show more love to the original trilogy. Too many mocks nowadays are always just Clone Wars stuff, even though some good original trilogy mocks can be made like this here. Breaking into the top 5, the 5th mock is the Chase Through Utapau. This is a set concept and a great one at that. It combines elements of previously seen sets, but obviously remade by this mock builder. Utapau is such a cool scene, especially with Grievous's and Obi-Wan's chase and their fight throughout that battle. And a similar set has been made before by LEGO, but it's been forever. We've seen Grievous's wheel bike semi-recently, but that creature Obi-Wan rides on hasn't been seen in 20 years. I'd love to see a remake, and a model like this looks spectacular. It's not too often we see LEGO Star Wars creatures brick built like this, and especially big ones. So it'd be a good opportunity for LEGO to kind of branch out and do something different. Then those side builds are nice too. Not necessary, but a cool tack on. The 4th mock is an AT-OT. Specifically an accurate one carrying a number of 327th troopers. I'll take this guy's word for it because I don't want to have to count them. And either way, it's just impressive how many troopers are in there. It's such a great sight. All these clones together in one vehicle, It's exactly what my kid self would have wanted to have. I'll take a moment though to make sure I mention this build. It feels very realistic. Of course, I'm sure the amplitude of minifigures on the inside helps, but the outside, I just feel like it resembles the movie very well. There's not a whole lot of pictures of it, but from this one angle, it just gives me that kind of gritty, movie accurate appearance that isn't necessarily always present in MOCs or Lego sets, which is to be a given. It's hard with only bricks. And that's something that makes this build stand out to me. The third MOC in this list, we're coming back to the AT-AT. The gingerbread AT-AT is now remade into an AT-TE. This one's definitely my favorite of them all. The Christmas decor feels perfect on this build. The lights strung on the side and then the reef as the joint for the leg. Not to mention the body itself just feels very robust. And I love the candy cane cannons. While I enjoyed the others, this one just has something different to it. Partially, I think the angles of the build are just complementary. It looks beautiful and is a terrific Christmas model. On to the runner-up MOC, we're back to micro builds. 3 of them in fact. Starting on the left side, we clearly have the Slave 1, which might be the most impressive out of all of them. It's a very distinct ship, and what they did here was pretty spectacular. It is really well done. There's no question of what ship that is. The X-Wing is somewhat simple, but very apparent. And then finally, the Death Star, made with only 2 pieces. Simple, but well done. Something I find interesting, though, is this builder specifically mentions the Star Wars logo set, which is just a tremendous idea. Making these micro builds to add on to that one is great. You can attach those black pieces right onto it and kind of have them stick around on it. A great way to spice up that Lego set, and something Lego quite frankly should have done themselves. Alright, we have made it to the top set of the month. The most upvoted set of November 2025 is this MTT. No ordinary Star Wars MTT, a Lego movie version. The design is as advertised. It's the MTT, but decked out with Lego police uniforms and robots. If you're not familiar with the Lego movie, this is what it takes inspiration from. And for that, I love it. I love that movie, and this is a good alternative build. I like seeing different things in this subreddit. Even though it's the Lego Star Wars subreddit, not everything has to be 100% Lego Star Wars. Builds like these, where it's kind of combining 2 themes, are awesome to see as well. It's a very neat concept and very fun. I love the throwback to the Lego movie. I will say I'm a little surprised though it made the top set. Personally, if I had to give my favorites, I'd say the Imperial Outpost MOC is number 3, the Chase Through to Pass second, and the best one is Gingerbread ATT. That's probably my top 3 out of all these. But maybe you guys out there agree with Reddit, or you have your own opinions. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite MOCs of the month were. Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.